Welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show on 94.7 The Pulse. Music, interviews, news and, well, two blokes chatting. Now, here are the two blokes.
Well, we're going to beef the program up a little bit here now. Anita Donlon, hello.
How are you going?
I can't tell you, it's a secret. I am very well indeed, thank you very much. You are, in fact, I can't remember your title, but you're part of, you are the head, the leader, the...
Campaign manager.
That's the one, campaign manager of BEEFitUP Australia. Tell us a bit about what that organisation does.
Yeah, look, thank you so much for that. Well, first of all, we're all volunteers, so unlike a lot of other charities, we don't have any paid staff.
Good, I like it already.
Even our CEO is a volunteer, and all the board members. I used to be a board member of our charity that we're part of, which is the Australian Horizons Foundation. I stepped down off the board around about 2 years ago when, with a group of other volunteers, we designed the BEEFitUP Australia campaign. This was really because the foundation is actually located up in far north Queensland, and it was started by farmers for farmers around about 10 years ago when they were in the height of the drought, the flood, the fires, Cyclone Yasi, live cattle export ban. Everything was just crumbling around them. And since then it's become a national charity, a national foundation. So in the true sense of a foundation, we work with communities on the ground and we connect with communities on a grassroots level, and we find out exactly who's who in the zoo, what is needed, and we help directly on the ground. So there's two pillars of the foundation, and one is where I don't have any involvement with that. It's where we actually run raffles where we give away really cool cars, motorbikes, things like that. And that money is then filtered through to other not-for-profits within those community groups that are identified. The other pillar, of which I am very proudly the campaign manager of, and I won't say I'm the leader because everybody is on an equal par. What we do is we recognise the need for social and economic support. So on a mental health level, which is vital for anybody regardless if it's town or country, we connect with the local hotel because that is the hub of the community. It's where trials and tribulations and hatch, matched and dispatched have been celebrated since the doors opened, and that is where the community gathers. So what we do is we've got the 1,000 Paddocks campaign, and through the money that we raise through that, we identify a community, a postcode, and of course all those small towns are surrounded by thousands of paddocks. We then go and say to the local publican and the community, would you like to become part of the program? From there, what we do is we then work in with the publican and we put on events within the hotel, and we bring everything from comedy, trivia, music, wellness, mental health, you name it. We've even got some MKR stars that were on a couple of years ago on the show. They even come up and do a cook-up. We have Spook It Up, which is where we also do paranormal nights because, of course, the hotels most of them are old, and, of course, they've got spirits of the past, which, of course, is all about us paying homage to everybody past, present and future.
When Rob goes to a pub and asks about spirits, he's generally talking about Johnny Walker.
Well, we do actually. We've nicknamed them nightly spirits. Yeah. But no, we have a wonderful volunteer who does that, and we've got some really cool stories to tell of some really amazing old hotels in our community. And of course, they're always, you have your skeptics, but the stories, the old barflies. We all hear of different things, but look, guys, really where we're coming from is to provide the opportunity for people from outside of that community to come in and say to those members of the community, whether they be farmers, small business owners that make the community tick, whether it be retirees, whether it be people that just live there, maybe have moved there for a tree change, that we care. People outside of your community do care about you. So that's what we're all about.
It's very important. We were just discussing that exact subject before about the slow demolition of community structure, just little bits here and there. But in rural Australia, it's just absolutely vital for all the reasons that you so perfectly explained.
Yeah, and look, COVID-19, people in the cities, they say, oh, I'm isolated, I'm in my home. But the reality of it is, and I'll use our founder and our chairman as an example, he lives on 85,000 acres.
Yep, that's isolated.
Yeah, I said to him at the beginning, so how are you going with the isolation? He goes, mate, have you forgotten where I'm like, well, yeah, good point. And that brings me to another little saying that I would like to give to you guys and to your listeners, and that is something that our founder said to me when I first was invited to join, and that is, let distance not divide us. Because at the end of the day, it could be thousands of kilometres, it could be just around the corner, it could be next door. It doesn't matter. And I think in this time of the COVID-19 and the lockdown and isolation, I think everybody has been made to stop and think about their lives. And, people in the bush, they're already isolated. People in the bush, a lot of communities don't have the infrastructure and the facilities of which a lot of city folk have. But the one thing that they do have is a sense of community and looking after each other. And the, hey, mate, how you going? They look out for each other a lot more in the cities. That's what we've noticed anyway.
Well, I think the thing too, Anita, is that, you and I have chatted a few times in the last couple of weeks in a range of forums, podcasts and telephone calls and all sorts of stuff. And we're happy to say that you're in Bendigo. We're happy to say that, aren't we? If not, I've just said it.
I'm in beautiful central Victoria, which is central to everywhere.
So it's a couple of hours drive from here to Geelong, and so from here to Bendigo, from Geelong. I can talk to Rob because he's on the other side of a desk 1.5 metres away. You're 150, 200 kilometres away. But right now, in isolation with so many people using various versions of technology, you are as geographically close to me as what Rob is. This whole I can't get to Bendigo because it's too far away thing disappears. Your mate out on these 85,000 acres of land, he's as close to me as you are in Bendigo as Rob is here in Geelong. Because
absolutely, and that is so true. When his internet works, internet out in the bush is terrible.
In other places it's absolutely outstanding. It depends on where you end up, I think. But I think it's also in my mind the fact that they're out of sight, out of mind. If you know what I mean. So therefore, if I wanted to sit down and pick up the phone and talk to somebody, I'm not going to necessarily ring someone who's in north central Queensland. I'm more likely going to talk to someone nearby. And I think it's a mind shift as well, is it not?
Absolutely. And look, we're really excited with the hotels opening up. We've started to reach out to a lot of the communities already, and we start next weekend. We're heading out to New South Wales to a little tiny, well, I can't even call it a town. It's a postcode only. There's only a hotel there, and that's a little place called Pretty Pine.
So, not heard of that one.
No, and there's nothing there. But in saying that,
there's a community there, I'll bet.
The community have heard about us coming, and as of last night,
they've all left town. No.
Well,
sorry, you just left just enough gap for me to slide that in. So keep going.
Yeah, they've already got 30 people booked in for our night of laughs, for our Laugh It Up session with Flemo. That's incredible, because again, it's because people are isolated. They've been locked up. And they haven't seen their friends for a long time on the neighbouring stations, properties and so forth. So, of course, they're all seeing this opportunity of coming together. And, of course, we can only come together with a community because of people donating $5 to the 1,000 Paddocks campaign. We don't get government funding. We don't want government funding because that will take away exactly what we're about, and that is all about mates helping mates. So, the second town that we're going to a fortnight later is a little place called Blighty. There's hardly anything in Blighty as well, but around Blighty there's a full community. They've got dairies, they've got feedlots, they've got farmers, they've got grain farmers, of course, these two communities and more are going through the water debacle with the Murray-Darling Basin issue, where the water has been basically removed. The taps have been turned off because of bureaucratic red tape and decisions made from a desk instead of out on the farm. But these communities, again, even though they're isolated, they are really looking forward to coming together and saying g'day to each other and having a laugh. This COVID-19 situation, I think, in a way, has been very, very positive, not only for country folk but also for city folk, because we've had to stop and think about our lives and about each other. But on the other side of the coin, I think the tourism opportunities on an intrastate and interstate level is going to be great for these small communities who are needing people to visit, whether it be half an hour out of Geelong or half an hour out of Bendigo. You know, there's leaving the money in a small town is absolutely priceless.
Anita, let's just peel things back a bit here. You touched on something there which resonated with me. You're on here to promote your organisation and the great things you do, and that's fantastic. But what about yourself? How are you tracking, and what continues to drive you as an individual to volunteer for this stuff?
Well, I was actually raised in a small town. Excuse me, that's not a COVID cough, that's a smoker's cough.
Medical authorities warn that smoking is a health hazard.
Yeah, exactly. I was raised in a small town on the Adelaide Plains in South Australia, and I experienced what it was like to live in a small town up until my late 20s, and I experienced what a community was all about. But I also experienced the devastation of what a large business does, a supermarket, does to a small town's economy when it comes into town. At the time, I was a shopkeeper. I left school when I was 15 to work in the local bakery. I went off and I finished my apprenticeship at another place. But I went back and I bought that bakery when I was 19. When I was 20, just before I was 20, the local supermarket was basically, they rebuilt it, and they built a big supermarket, and they put on special bread and milk and everything that we all sold, the butchers and the fruit and veg and so forth. And we had to come together as other shopkeepers to ask the supermarket not to put on special things that we sell so we could keep afloat. Of course, that didn't happen. So that resulted in a bit of a milk war and a bread war and a chocolate war. But that sent a very strong message to me that community, small business support is vital. When the big supermarket decided that they weren't going to listen to us, we all had to diversify it, but the community still supported us. We then saw a big shift in that community when a big raceway came and opened up, and that then gave community groups. I was very big in the Country Fire Service. My father actually started the Lions Club in that town. He's always driven the important factor to me about community and helping each other, and that's always and still is a big driver. And he's 85 now, and he's my everything, and so is my mum and my family. But that's what drives me, was what I saw and experienced in the early days. We also had some tragedy in our family, and I saw the community come together to a point that I've never seen and experienced ever since. So that is why I keep doing what I'm doing. And mental health is also a big thing. A lot of people, they'll sit back and, they think, I'm having a really bad day. But are you really? There's always somebody worse off. That's what my grandmother always used to say to me. And if you can help somebody, if you can smile to somebody, if you can say, how you going, mate, if you can just give them that positive, you never know what that's going to do for that person. And that actually brings me into why we have also got another campaign called Hoodies for Hope for Australia, because we recognise the need for people to smile and a positive affirmation away from social media. Our face of BEEFitUP Australia, Tim May, he has got his own story. He has been diagnosed with clinical depression, and for his own self and his own family, his motto is, "We are strong, we are survivors, we will win." And that motto is being adopted and put onto the back of a hoodie. And so we then thought, well, let's take it one step further. If we've got this positive affirmation, why don't we put the person's town on the back of the hoodie? So for me, it's Bendigo. I love Bendigo. It's been my home. My parents sold up on the farm when I was around about 18, 19. I stayed in that town, got married, got divorced, had children, did all of that. But they bought hotels. So we've got 3 generations in this town that we have called home for many years. More so my parents and my family. We moved here probably about 25 years ago. But for me, my hoodie's got Bendigo, we are strong, we are survivors, we will win. So I want people who walk behind me to actually read that and feel great about their community, feel great about they're reading something, and so they can say to themselves, yeah, I am strong, I am a survivor, and I will win. I am going to keep my chin up. And I want that to resonate back in. And it's not just me that wants that, it's everybody. And that's what we're actually finding. So a group of like-minded people who have come together, we've got people all over the country that are volunteers, and we always welcome new volunteers. We've all got the same mindset. So, of course, that drives me. So it's stories like that that we're able to, turn around and say to anybody, how you going, mate? I understand.
Well, good stuff, and we've got 3 campaigns. The $5 for a paddock, and I suppose anyone who's listening has got a farm and understands the importance of community close to Geelong. That's one way they do it. Hoodies for Hope. I'm sure we can get onto the website there and get more information about that and the general BEEFitUP campaign. Keep an eye out for towns to go to. But is there a website where people can simply go to and find out exactly where you're at, Anita?
Absolutely, yep. We've got beefitupaustralia.org, but we are very big on social media. So, of course, we have BEEFitUP Australia, and then we've also got Hoodies for Hope for Australia. And, it's one big community. We've got other groups happening as well. Everyone's invited to join in. It's not just a matter of, you've got to live out bush. We have people, in the cities all around the country that support in some way. And that's what it's about, closing the distance. Let distance not divide us.
Good stuff. Really appreciate your time. Good luck with your projects. Very dear to my heart, all that stuff. You keep chucking that word community is the essence that's under more threat than it's ever been at the moment. So it's organisations like yours that are going to keep it vibrant. Anita, thank you so much for your time. Good luck. It's BEEFitUP Australia. Get on to different website or social media platforms. Get on, support, follow, look, learn, understand. Anita, Donlon, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, guys, and you guys have a great day, and all your listeners keep smiling, and remember, we are strong, we will survive, and we will win.
Good on you. All the very best.
Thanks, Anita. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.